All right. Okay, so just as a reminder, we started by doing reflections. So we started by taking an image and then reflecting it over a line of some sort. And there were 4 rules that we had. We reflected things over x-axis, y-axis, origin, and then the line y equals x. If we reflect something over the x-axis, that means if I have an image up here and I reflect it over my horizontal x-axis, that means that my image is going to move either down or it's going to move up. Okay, so in this case, we had like the blue line, and we reflected over the x-axis, and we ended up with this line here. But there was a rule for it. The rule was xy went to x negative y, okay? And then same thing for y-axis. If I reflect something over my y-axis, that vertical line, xy goes to negative xy. It'd be reflecting either to the left or to the right. So then I negate my sign of my x-coordinate. If it's already negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. And then a picture of that looks like this. If I reflect B over the x-axis, it's going to go over here. If I reflect A, it's going to go over here. If I reflect the whole thing, then it's going to look like that. Okay? And then I reflected over the line Y. After that was the origin. Okay? So if I reflect this line over this point, then it's going to go in this direction. Okay? We drew a line from the origin to that. Whatever that distance is, we're going to go that same distance in the other direction, okay? The rule for that one, we negated each one of our coordinates. So xy became negative x, negative y, and then our reflecting over the line y equals x, we did the transpose of our coordinates. So we swapped the x and y coordinates, and then that's how we ended up with our new points, okay? All right. And then we did translations. So we talked about shifting an object up, down, left, or right. To the right and up were our positive directions, and down and left are our negative directions. So, okay. All right, so then in that case, let's do our worksheet. Let's pull this up and let's do a couple of these together. Landon started putting up number 1, and then we talked about how to graph it. I told him I would just do it for you guys here. So, all right, worksheet 1. Okay, here we go. All right, so number 1, I want to reflect this across the x-axis. Now, there's a couple ways that you guys can do this. We can use the rule, or we can use the picture. You should be comfortable doing either one, okay? So let's look at, if I just use this picture, let's start with D, okay? So D is at the coordinate point 1, 0, okay? I want to reflect it across the x-axis, which means I want to reflect it over this line right here, okay? But D is on that line. So where's D prime going to go? It's the same spot, right? So I'm just going to call this D prime. Okay, cool. All right, what about, it looks like there's an H down here. Where's that going to go? Right now it's down 2 units from that line. So it'd be up 2 units. So this is where my H prime would be, okay? And then Z, distance of 2 away from here. So if I go 2 in the opposite direction, I'm going to have Z prime is there. And then is this an E or an F? I think it's an E. So then 1, 2, 3, 4. I go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So it's going to look like this. And then this is going to be my object reflected over my x-axis. Okay? So that's one way. You got to be comfortable doing it. The other way is if I had like D, H, E, and then Z, I guess, and I had those original coordinate points of 1, 0, H would be 0, negative 2, E would be negative 2, 4, and then Z, so it's negative 2, and then Z would be the coordinate negative 3, 2. If I'm reflecting it over the x-axis, we change our y-coordinate. So then D prime, 1, 0 doesn't change. H prime becomes 0, 2. E prime becomes negative 2, negative 4. And then Z prime becomes negative 3, negative 2. Those are the same coordinates that I wrote in red already to the left. Okay? Those are the 2 ways that you can do the problem. Okay? Either way would be perfectly fine. All right, so write a rule to describe each transformation. All right, so M goes to M prime. So negative 2, 2, negative 2 goes to negative 2, 2. And then let's see, j goes to j prime. So negative 3, 2 becomes negative 3, negative 2. And then x to x prime. What's happening each time for all my coordinates? The y does what? It changes sign. If it was initially negative, it becomes positive. If it was positive, it becomes negative. So what transformation causes a change of sign in my y-coordinate? Reflection over x-axis. So that would be my rule. Reflection over x-axis. Really, the rule would be xy goes to x negative y. But that's what transformation is a reflection over my x-axis. Okay? All right, this one wants you to find the coordinates, okay? It says reflected over the y-axis. What do I need to do to each one of my coordinates? Which coordinate changes, x or y? X, right? And what happens? Just change the sign, right? Okay, so if I change the sign of my x-coordinate, I would get negative 3, negative 1, 1, negative 2, 3, and then negative 5, negative 1 would be my new set of coordinates, okay? Super easy, all right? All right, translation, 2 units left and 3 units down, okay? I don't have the coordinates. I could do it just based off coordinates, or I could literally take each point and go 2 left, 3 down. So m prime would be 2 left, 1, 2, 3 down. Here's m prime. A prime, 2 left, 1, 2, 3 down. Here's a prime. T prime, 2 left, 1, 2, 3 down. And then z prime would be right over there. So then my figure would look like this. It just says graph the image. It doesn't say give me the coordinates. So all I would have to do is that. Okay? Simple enough. All right? Now, this one's a little different. They give you the pre-image and the image, which means your initial value and your result. You guys have to come up with a rule for it. First of all, what type of transformation is it? Is it a reflection or a translation? Okay, so it's a translation, and you guys tell me my rule. I have to do, it's going to look something like this. X, y turns into x plus or minus a number, and then y plus or minus a number. Which directions do we go? Right and down. Okay, how far did I go right? I heard it. Plus, okay, so then I gave it away already, but I'm going to go plus 3 because I went right 3. Okay. What about, you said down? How far am I going down? 1. So what's that look like? There you go. Yep. That's all you had to do. Write the rule. Okay. All right, Haya did 11 on the backboard for us, so let's look at what Haya did. It says you've got your coordinate points L, R, and G. We want to translate them 6 units right and 1 unit down. So the rule that Haya would be using would be xy goes to x. What am I going to do to that x coordinate, Haya? Add or subtract 6. I'm going to add 6. And then what about 1 unit down? What am I doing to my y coordinate? 1. Good. So Haya's answers are on the backboard back there. Let's see. Oh, you did 5? I'm a dummy. I'm sorry that we didn't look at that before. Okay, well, your answers look really good, Haya, so good job there. I don't know why I thought you did 11. I just knew 11 was next to it. All right, no one did 11, so we got to do it together. All right, so I need L prime. That just means you guys get to help me. Haya's not going to bail you out this time. All right, here's one thing you could do to make your life a little easier. Below all of those coordinates, write your change. So like they wrote your coordinates out nice and neat for you guys. Below all of your x values, do plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, if you don't want to have to keep it in your head. And then below all of your y values, do minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So plus 6, minus 1, plus 6, minus 1, plus 6, minus 1. So then what's my first point become? It's negative 5, negative 3. Add 6 and subtract 1. What do you get? This would give me positive 1, right? And then this would give me, good. So then 1, negative 4 would be my first point. And then what about r prime? Add 6, subtract 1. What's that going to be? 1, negative 1. And then what about G prime? 3, 0. Good. All right. And then 13 is pretty much the same. I mean, I don't really feel like going through 13, but if I do it in my head, 2 units left and 2 units down would be negative 2 for P prime. R prime would be 0, 3. L prime would be 2, 1. And then G prime would be 2, negative 1. That's what you should have for those. Okay? All right, questions there? Ready to finish 9192? I only have like just a couple of examples. It'll be really short. And as long as you guys can count, then you'll do just fine. In the future, I probably won't break these up into multiple numbers files, but go to Google Classroom and then download the file that says 9192 day 2 while I take attendance. I think we're all here today. All right. 9192 day 2. So we're going to look primarily at reflections again. So we did reflections already. We'll look at reflections again. However, we are going to reflect our pre-image over lines that are not an axis. So not an x-axis, not a y-axis, okay? But I think you guys will find that this part is not bad at all. That file's up there in Google Classroom, right? Okay, cool. All right, so we want to reflect a pre-image over any horizontal or vertical line, okay? First of all, we need to remember our equations for horizontal and vertical lines. So let's do that real quick. If I have a horizontal line, that would be an equation in what form if it's horizontal? Anybody remember? Y. Good. So horizontal line. So I would write this off to the side. This is important. Horizontal line is going to be of the form y equals, I'm just going to say b, but it's just y equals some number. It would give us a horizontal line. Okay? And then my vertical line would be instead what? Good. X equals some value a. All right, so horizontal line is y equals b. Vertical line is going to be x equals a. All right, so you'll have that in the problems. They'll say, reflect your triangle across the line, x equals 3. So you guys tell me, does that represent a vertical line or a horizontal line? Vertical. All right, Julia gets it, but now she's banned from answering those questions. Someone else has to tell me. All right, how do I sketch that vertical line, x equals 3? Just up and down, dotted line at 3. All right, so I'm just putting that in there straight away, okay? All right, now notice I did not give you any rules. That's because there aren't any rules. In order for us to find what our coordinates are, we just need to count. So it is definitely best for us to have a graph, okay? Sparrow, I need you with us, buddy. All right, so then my coordinates are 3, 0. And then, so that's A, so let's label all those. B is at 5, 1. Here's B. And then C is at 2, 4, which is here. So there's C. Okay? So I have this triangle, and I want to reflect it over that line. Okay? Which means some points are going to move to the left, some are going to move to the right. Shoot, one of them is not going to move at all. Which point isn't going to move at all? Yeah, A is not going to move at all. Okay? So A prime is going to be at that same spot. Let's do B prime. Again, there's no rule. You just have to count. So what direction is B going to go? To the left where's it going to be at? See what I did there? 1, 1. It would end up right there. Okay, so that's going to be B prime. I know that because B is 1, 2 away from that line, so it's going to go 1, 2 in the opposite direction. Okay. All right, what about C? Where's that going? 4, 4. So like right here, there's C prime, and then here's my triangle. All right, I know it's busy. There's a lot going on there. But do those triangles look like two congruent triangles? Yeah. I would say so. My size and my shape should not change. Just the orientation and location of that triangle should be the only thing that changes, not the size and the shape. Okay, good. All right. Now, if it were to ask me to write those coordinates, I would do so. So A prime, B prime, C prime, and then I just need to pick them out from the graph. So then A prime is still 3, 0. B prime, you guys told me it was 1, 1. C prime, Chris told me it was 4, 4. So something like that. All right. Feeling all right? Landon, you're getting good at writing with your finger instead of a stylus. Yep. Where's your stylus at?
Someone took it a long time ago.
Aren't you guys able to like go to like Mr. Kuhn or whatever and be like, hey, can I have a new stylus? Like, will they give you another one?
Unless you pay for it, probably.
You got to pay? How much is this?
What? Since I don't know who has it, and when I have to turn my iPad in, what's his name?
Mr. Kuhn? Why'd you ask?
I just didn't hear you.
You didn't hear me? I'm sitting closest to you than anybody else. All right. Let's write a rule for the transformation. And then we've got a graph there, so then we're going to graph it as well too. Okay? All right, so let's graph our original points, and then we'll graph our primes as well too. So original points, I'll just do it in red. So G is at -3, 4. And then F is at -1, 5. And then E is at 2, 3. All right, and then let's do our primes. So then G prime is at 1, 4. E prime is at -4, 3. And then F prime is at -1, 5. Oh, shoot. F didn't change. That's like a huge clue right there. Okay, so then we need to figure out what happened. Like, what did I do exactly to get from our pre-image to our image? Probably some sort of reflection, right? Over what type of line? Vertical or horizontal? Vertical? Okay. What vertical line do you think I reflected? X equals -1, says Chris. Do you guys agree? I also agree. How do you know that, Chris? You're right. A lot of people agree with you. But how do you know it's a reflection in X equals -1?
The F's are on the same point, and the G's are like and
Which coordinates changed? My X coordinates or my Y? Like to get from, good, yeah. So like to get from G to G prime, only my X coordinate changed, which is another good indicator that I'm reflecting it over a vertical line. But Chris is right. My coordinate for F did not change to get from F to F prime. So that's a good way for me to know, like, okay, I'm just reflecting it over a vertical line in that case. All right, good. Okay, cool. All right, those are vertical lines. Let's do horizontal lines. All right, so reflect triangle XYZ across the line Y equals -1, okay? So same kind of story. I'm going to reflect, but in this case, it's Y equals. So it's horizontal. So I need to reflect over that line right there, okay? So let's put our coordinates in. So X is at 2, 2. Y is at 3, -1. And then Z is at 0, -4. All right. So then all of my coordinates are going to either gonna move up or down. Oh, wait, except which one? Yeah, y stays in the same spot. So y is still going to be 3, -1. Okay, so I need to come up with an x prime and a z prime. Let's talk about x. Where's x going, up or down? It's going to go down. So right now it's skipping by 1, 2, 3 to get to that point. So I'm going to go 3 in the direction opposite of that. So 1, 2, 3 gives me x prime is right there. So that looks like 2, -4. And then z prime. So that's got to go up, right? 1, 2, 3 to get to that dotted line. So I'm going to go 3 up, okay? So 1, 2, 3 would give me 0, 2. Cool. So then x prime or y prime stays there. So my new image looks like that. Does that look like my same triangle, just oriented different? Looks like it to me. All right, one more example, and then we'll do an in-class practice, give you guys some time to work on things, and I'll give you a worksheet to practice with at home after that. Okay, reflect over the line of y = 2. Why don't you guys do this on your own? I'm too impatient for that. All right, we'll put the 2 in. I'm going to give you in-class practice anyways. That's when I'll let you practice on your own in class. All right, so y = 2 is going to be our horizontal line, so we start there. And then let's put our points in. So -2, 3 is D, and then E is at 1, 5. F is at 0, -2. So D, E, F. So that skinny triangle, we are going to reflect over that line. No, I don't want to do green and red. It's like Christmas-themed colors. That's too much. I get that, like, Christmas is exciting, but, like, it drives me nuts when stores, like, put out stuff too early. You guys probably don't get bummed out about that, do you? You're probably ready for Christmas and excited. It bums me out. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. I don't like skipping over it. All right, D. I need to reflect over that line. Where's it going? Down. So D prime. Where's that going to be? Looks like -2, 1. All right, E prime. That's also going down. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Looks like it's going to be right over there. So that looks like 1, -1 to me. And then F prime. That's going up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way up here. So then that's going to be at the point 0, 6. There we go. All right. Questions there? So there's no rules with those. It's just you got to graph them, though. You just got to count and graph it. Okay? All right. Let me give you guys some problems to work on. We'll check them